Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel, and for the past few days now, I have been undergoing a 30 days DevOps challenge, and today is day 3. So I'll be going through the task for today, which is a data lake. Right, so a data lake is more of like an ETL platform. Basically, you basically just store data, but right now we'll be using the parts of ETL whereby you extract data, you extract and analyze, then transform data, then load it into another database or another storage. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Now, you can get the code for day 3 on my GitHub channel, and let's just check out the technical architecture overview. Okay, so this is the technical architecture of what we are going to be doing. We have S3, which basically stores the raw and unprocessed data. We have Glue, which basically acts as a database, which is a database basically that has several tables with several columns. So here is where you put the data that you've extracted and transformed, and then you have Athena, which helps to undo querying the Glue database. So that's the general overview of what we are going to be doing today. So now let's go into the code to see more about it. Now when you go to the GitHub, and then you see the structure, we have delete resource, setup resource. Let me use PyCharm. Yeah, so this is structure. We have this is a folder, day 3 data lake. We have my virtual environment. We have my source folder. We contain the setup resource and the delete resource, and then we have notes here and requirement.txt. This is basically the package that I used in order to achieve success in this project. Now for the setup resource, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be setting up all of these resources on AWS, and then we would have them communicate with each other, and then we will query data from Athena and be sure we are able to get out meaningful insights from the database, from the Glue database, and then we are going to remove those resources that we've created. So that's why I have the setup, and then I have like the delete resource. Now for the setup, it basically contains three major three major functions, which is like to create a bucket, um, to create a Glue database and create a Glue table, and then you fetch your data that you want to store into your database, and a function to upload to S3 and configure Athena. We can actually like look through some aspect of the code. Basically, to create a bucket, you want to be sure that you don't have a bucket like with the same name. You want to be sure it does not exist before. That's why we have this check. And then if the check, if we have the bucket already, then it's just tell us that, oh, this bucket exists. But if we don't have the bucket, then it creates that bucket for us. Same thing happens with the Glue database. It checks if the Glue database exists, but if it doesn't exist, it creates one for us. With the name, the name has been set in the init file, with the name and the description. Also, same thing for table. So this table contains several columns that we want to map data into. So we have like the player ID, first name, last name, etc. So, and these are the data type for the columns. Yeah, so these are the data type for the columns, and this is the location. This is basically where the table data is going to be residing in. So this function basically just creates a Glue table, and we have this function also that basically just makes an API request to spot.data.io to pull um, players stats, and we have this function that basically store um, this JSON this JSON that we just made an API call for. We store it into S3. And lastly, we have the setup configure Athena. So configure Athena just create like an MB analytics. So from this we can basically just query our Glue database. So it will there is a function here that basically just join everything together. This is like the main function. It's called setup the process. So the first thing we did was create a bucket, and then we create Glue database. We fetch NBA data, and if the data exists, we upload that data into S3. We create a Glue table, and then we configure Athena. So this is this is what is going to like set up the resource, this technical resource on AWS for us. And also let me just go through delete resource. Delete resource basically just does the direct opposite of what setup resource is supposed to do, right? So delete will basically just deletes a bucket, deletes a Glue database, is delete the Glue database that we've created initially, and then delete Athena also. So we can see it here. First thing, delete buckets, delete Glue database and all the table inside it, and then also like delete all the query results that we've created. So we can do this using AWS, or we can do this from our console, but I'm going to be doing this from my console. So let me run the code right now. So we see into the folder, and then we activate our virtual environment. Now that we've done that, we will just Python. Also, you can also click on run here, but I love writing the code for it. So you can just do Python src/setup the resource, and then you click on enter. So S3 bucket has been created successfully. Then after a while, it's going to try and fetch create the database, and then fetch the NBA data. So Glue database has been created successfully. Same thing, we've been able to fetch this NBA player data and also upload it successfully to S3. Okay, also Glue table here has been created successfully, and there has been a link between Athena and the Glue table, Glue database, yeah, and then we've configured our data lake. Now let's go to AWS to go and check out what we've actually done. So when you get to AWS, you can just type S3 and click on the first link here. So as you can see, we have our database here. To confirm, this is the database name, Zod Sports Analytics Data Lake. So, and then it currently resides in the buckets. We can take a deeper look into it. We have the Athena results. This is basically where the Athena, whatever query we run on the Athena, this is where we are going to have the results stored. Also, we have like the raw data also, which is the NBA player data JSON. So let me just show you what the JSON looks like. So this is what the JSON looks like. We see how large the data is, and the data is about 800 kilobytes, right? So the data is kind of heavy. So more reason why there is a need for you to transform this data. Now that we've extracted the data, we extracted the data from spot.data.io. Now there is a need for us to transform the data into something that is a little bit more readable, so that we can get valuable insights from this JSON. Now to do that, we'll be using our Athena. So let's just go back to, yeah, you can just do Athena yeah, Athena, and open in a new tab. Let's close this, open in a new tab. Yeah, so once you get to Athena, you see something like this, launch query editor. Then you have something like this. So I already have this query because I've tried it before. So one thing we need to do is we need to configure our query location. As you can see, before you can run your first query, you need to configure your query location for Amazon S3. So you edit the settings, and then this is the format for the query locator. That's S3's bucket name and then prefix. So this is basically this is basically what we have here. Like, that is basically what we have here, Athena output location. But I already have it in my notes, so I'll just copy it. So my bucket name, this is my bucket name, Zod Analytics Data Lake. So, and then this is my parts. That's my parts prefix. So once you've done this, just click on save. Now that you've saved it, you can now run a query. Again, you also need to pick the right database, which is Glue database. As you can see, on NBA Analytics, you don't have any table, you don't have anything in the database, you don't have any table, but the right one is the Glue NBA Data Lake. So now that we've clicked it, we have like a single table, and then we can make a query. Let's run this first query. Now we are getting useful insights. Basically, what we are trying to do is get the first 10 NBA players, and these are what we have, and their teams and position and the likes. Same thing, we can also run this query to select the first name, select this information from NBA players where their position is. I think PG is point guard. Yeah, so you can run this. So now these are all the players that match that query, that have basically position as PG. So you can see this position is, everything is just PG. Now furthermore, what we can do basically, now that we've transformed the data, and then we are getting like useful data, what we can do is that we can also save all this data in another database, like all these transformed data also, or all these query results, we can save it in another database, or we can use Amazon quick sites to basically give us like a visualization for what the query looks like, to provide a visual view to investors or people that are actually concerned about the system you're building. Now that we've done this, one thing we need to do before we end this is first thing, let me show you. We can actually like run this query also from this place. You can run the query from this place. You can basically just click on this cloud shell, and then create a file, either your delete resource, and then run it from your cloud shell. But I don't like that, so I will just run it from my terminal here. So I just do Python src delete resource, and then so I'm deleting the resource so that I will not be charged by AWS, and then so as to be able to clean up all the resources I've created. As you can see, all of these things has been deleted, and they have been deleted successfully. So that basically just concludes what I've done when it comes to data lake. My D3 challenge for my 30 days DevOps journey. Let me know if you have any question, any contribution, or any comments about this.